Hey everybody, Brian Bauman from Bauman's Farm, and the nursery is stocked, loaded, and ready to go for Mother's Day. And I have to tell you, I have been blown away by the response that we've gotten on a brand new hydrangea that's just come out to the market. In fact, it wasn't supposed to be available till after Mother's Day, but they released it early, thank goodness, because we have been overloaded. It's this brand new Eclipse Hydrangea. It's from a nursery called Bailey's. They have a really nice Oregon facility based out of the Midwest, but they're the brainchilds behind Endless Summer Hydrangeas, which to me have been really a big game changer in hydrangeas blooming on new growth and old growth. Really great marketing campaign, so you get a hydrangea covered in blossoms all summer long. However, this is Eclipse, and let me tell you, the foliage on this is so dark, so black. It's impressive, to say the least. I first saw this hydrangea probably about a year and a half ago. A year ago, it really started coming out in the trade shows, and a lot of the critiques I heard is, yes, it's really black foliage, yes, it's really intense and beautiful, but it doesn't bloom a lot. But I can tell you that all of these that we have been getting into the nursery, they are covered in buds. And the thing that I love about this hydrangea is has the dark foliage, which is unique, different, but the blossoms are going to come out this kind of cranberry color that's just super striking, super beautiful, that contrasts really nicely from the foliage. I was trying to find something else to kind of give you an idea on the color, so I grabbed, wow, look at this. This is another hydrangea we have in stock right now at the nursery. This is a Seaside Serenade, and I believe this one, Seaside Serenade, is a series from Monrovia, and this one is called Hamptons. One of the reasons that Monrovia kind of bred this series was the stems on them are much thicker and stockier. So if you like to use hydrangeas for cut flowers, this one is amazing. There's a whole series of them. This one, the Hampton, I mean, the color on it is so beautiful, and look how loaded it is with flower buds. Now these are going to be kind of similar to the flower buds on the Eclipse Hydrangea. A couple things about Eclipse. We're learning as we go here. It's brand new. Jessica and me were just looking up to make sure it blooms on new growth and old growth, which means that you're going to get a much longer summer of blooms out of it, because you're going to get blooms coming up on that growth from last year, and then you're going to get a new flush of blooms in the summertime. The other thing to remember about it is the pH of your soil does affect I would say the shade of color on the hydrangea. So more acidic soil is going to be more kind of they describe it as amethyst. I've yet to see it. I'm really excited to see if there's an actual amethyst blossom on the end of it. And a more basic soil is going to be more that red, that kind of cranberry color that's going to stand out. This hydrangea is listed as growing in full sun. This is what I would say about it. If this is in full sun and dries out, it's probably going to burn. It's not because there's too much sun, it's that hydrangeas don't like it when they dry out in the full sun. Their foliage can't handle it, burns, it's done. You got to remove that spent foliage. So if you're going to put it in full sun, make sure you keep it really well watered, at least until it's well established. I'm going to grab some of these, take them over to my house. I'm going to put it in part sun, part shade. I think you're going to get the best of both worlds. It's not likely to burn as much, and you're still going to get that really intense, beautiful foliage with the bright colors on the outside. This has been so popular. In fact, we have a truck coming up in a little bit. Jessica and me will head out there in a second and get a video of all the hydrangeas coming in. But there's some other things that made me think about that are coming in that are also really dark foliage that's really different and exciting. So, or at least to me anyway. Let's go out. I'm going to show you a couple other things we have. At Bauman Farms, we're really known for growing a lot of big hanging baskets, a lot of annuals. That's really how my mom got us started back when I was a kid. But as we've diversified and grown more, we're starting to grow a lot more perennials, because it's hard for me to find the ones I really like, and this is a perfect example. This is a new Astilbe from Proven Winners, just released this year. It's called Dark Side of the Moon. And again, you can see that beautiful dark foliage. And I think that it's really interesting that a lot of these dark foliages coming out are better in the shade almost. And I think it's because you get some more of that kind of intense color. The thing that I love about this perennial is the dark foliage is great, unique, different, but it's going to have these really beautiful purple spikes coming off. And that contrast between the purple and the black foliage is what's going to make, whether this is in a container or in your like a shade bed, this is going to super stand out against everything else because of that contrast. It's been fairly vigorous for an astilbe, which I like. I don't like waiting a long time. I'm impatient. But these have been growing really fast. They're just flowering up their first flower spikes. I think this is going to be a real winner for shade gardens. That dark colored Eclipse Hydrangea has really got me thinking about black foliage, and I happen to think about all these beautiful dahlias. Check out this dark foliage on this dahlia. It's a series of dahlias called Happy Days, which I'm all about smiling happy days. And these, the dark foliage really creates that contrast that the flowers can come up and really shine. I'm bummed because they're not quite blooming, but like we're supposed to have some really nice weather right now, the 1st of May in Oregon, and these are gonna be popping in no time. And I was just talking with Jessica, I'm like, grab some photos and put these next to this. This is the cherry red one, and you can see the blossom just starting to come up. And these babies will bloom all summer long. There's a pink, there's a yellow, there's a cherry. Fuchsia bicolor is another one. Fuchsia halo, even better, right? Take a look at the flower next to this one. Jessica will throw it up there for you to see. Really pretty flowers. So a lot of dahlias will form a tuber. These are no different. What I would say though is, especially in Oregon, even though they are close to being hardy here, a lot of times that rain, that tuber just rots. Freeze, water, and done. I like to tell people these are just an annual, and then if they come back in the ground, you're like, woohoo, came back. I'd rather you be happy than sad. If you really want to keep them from year to year, you want to take those tubers out and keep them from year to year, and they'll keep coming. But for a plant that is going to bloom from now until November, you really get a lot of bang for your buck with this beauty. All different colors, you can put them in containers, in the ground. They make a great centerpiece with that black foliage, some other kind of things around the outside of it. We're going to keep an eye on some of these new varieties like the Fuchsia Halo, and see what kind of cool combos we can come up with. So beautiful. Last but certainly not least is this Huka. Check this one out. This is from Proven Winners as well. It's called Huka Black Pearl. It's always funny, whenever I'm doing a garden talk or I'm talking to people, I always say, I don't care, Huka, Huchera, Corabels. To me, gardening shouldn't be so stuck up on all the names and pronouncing them exactly right. It's about the joy of the plants, and I don't care how you call it. I'm sure I pronounce a lot of things wrong. And I love these for a durable, hardy perennial that's gonna look good 90% of the year. Hukas are just fantastic to add color and texture to the garden. A lot of times, and I think this is the case, I'm not a super big fan of a lot of the flowers coming up on it. A lot of times, especially at home, I go through and just kind of pull them all off. The plant doesn't really need it, and I find that it gets a lot fuller, and you really get to see the color more. Now, there's some varieties coming out now that, see, I just think that looks better to me personally, but I mean, to each their own, right? There's some varieties coming out that have better flowers. This one just wasn't one of them to me. But to finish off this video, I wanted to kind of give you an update. These are some planters that I'm working on. A little while back, I talked to you about Eupatorium elegant feathers. And if you look out over these planters, I love this feathery texture in the center of them. One thing that I did to make mine look a little better was I pinched out the center. And what that did then is it forced all of these around the outside. I think you end up with a much fuller plant. I'm still really experimenting on how this is gonna grow, how big it's gonna get. Does it really flower? I'm not sure if it's going to in the Northwest. I'm not sure if it needs to. And then what to put with it, right? We have this beautiful pink cashmere superbino, which you've heard me talk about many times. This, I think, is really pretty against the green foliage. And then Supertunia Jazzberry, also really pretty with the white pot. I think this is going to be a winning combination. So Just wanted to kind of give you an update and see how things are growing. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel because there's a whole lot more coming where this came from.